Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And today, welcoming back my good friend Brendan from Our Life in Horror. Brendan, how are you, sir?
What up? What's going on?
It's been a long time, right?
I know. It's been a whole like 10 minutes since we last recorded.
Exactly. Yeah, Brendan and I are doing a double thing tonight here to get these episodes out to you guys. We are talking Evil Dead 2013 this time. Um, Quick question I want to ask you before. Well, no, I'll come back to that. Let me go ahead and take a minute. You just talked about it on previous episode, but go ahead and take a minute. Talk about Our Life in Horror, and then I think you said you have some really cool stuff to show us. So you do that, and then I'll ask you the question.
All right. I am one half of Our Life in Horror. We do YouTube lives. We're on Instagram. I think we're on TikTok. I know we cut out X and stuff like that. Right now we are on currently on a hiatus. We will be back. We are alive. We are doing well. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. As for collectibles, we'll
Yes.
start out with my favorite, which is of course physical medias of the movie. I did have this movie on DVD, and of course, I purged it. Now I'm gonna
Okay.
have to go and buy it again. Um, but I do have this U.S. import Blu-ray of Evil Dead 2013,
Oh wow. Okay. I
which
haven't seen that cover before. That's kind of cool.
we were only able to get this. I was only able to get this in the States, and it includes the theatrical and the unrated cut.
Nice. Okay.
Um, Before then, only cuts of the film that were released here were just the theatrical cut. So I had to import this one special in. I do have a Blu-ray, and then I will move on to Scream Factory's long run. We do have the standard collector's edition of Evil Dead,
Nice.
which has I don't know if this is the original or poster art for it or not. I think it's the white, which is the original cover art, which I will show here in a second.
Okay.
But I do love this poster art, of course.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Um, this is a pretty weak collector's edition, in my opinion. There's not a crazy amount of special features. I think they're all archival. So you're pretty much just getting the picture quality boosted
Yeah.
up from that Blu-ray.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to Scream Factory's first steelbook,
Very
which is
cool.
me in there.
I like that one. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's not bad.
Yeah, I like that.
This is my least favorite of the two.
Okay.
Um, but decent little cover art. And then I think you got
Oh
what's
yeah.
the net in the back on the
Yeah.
bathroom floor.
Nice. Okay.
Um,
That's pretty
yeah, I
cool.
picked it up. This was like $20 on Marketplace
Okay.
after the newest one released, which was this one. That was their latest steelbook. All the special features are the same on any of these copies, so if you have one, you don't have to be like me and buy all three. Um, but I am a sucker for this movie and this franchise, so I do have all three. This one is going to remain sealed.
Okay.
Um, so not opening this bad boy up.
It is pretty cool though. I like that.
And then I believe this is a UK import. Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But I do have another steelbook. This is from Project Pop Art, and this is my favorite steelbook cover.
Oh wow. Yeah, I do like that. That is very cool. I have
Isn't
not
that
seen that
something?
before. That is very nice. Okay.
Now it definitely catches your eye,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
the back is pretty simplistic as well as the spine. I don't know
Yeah.
if there's no, it's just pretty
Okay.
basic on the inside,
Yeah.
but
That
yeah, I love
cover is
that.
sweet though. Yeah. All right. So let me
And
ask you a
then
question about your steel books before you show what's next.
okay,
Do you buy the steel book covers and put those in there to protect them, or not typically?
I haven't. I do have some that I've gotten off of like Marketplace and stuff like that. Some people will send movies and stuff like that in protective sleeves.
Okay.
So what I did on my shelf is I pretty much organized it. Every other has a protective sleeve on it.
Okay.
So then when you slip back in, it's protected anyways,
Got it. Okay.
except for the bottom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
I've just recently started getting, for the longest time, I didn't have any steel books, and I've started working on steelbook collection and found out about those covers. And so I'm like, yeah, I probably should grab some of those because not even that, but like, they also have those little extra, once you open them, there's those little extra pieces that then you got nothing to do with, right? Like they're gonna fall off. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the J cards.
Yeah, J cards. And I'm like, I don't like this, so I need to get something where I can keep all that together.
Yeah, it does get annoying. Luckily, most of them come with like stickers. Like the Evil Dead like top one has like a little sticker.
Okay,
Top and bottom.
gotcha.
Some of them have like a little sticky. It's not like sticky glue, but it's like some kind of sticky thing where it stays on there.
It'll stay on. Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of use that too, but they do scratch easy, man.
Yeah.
I remember I got Evil Dead, or not Evil Dead, but Halloween Ends, the 4K Steelbook, because I have the first 3 in the Steelbook. So I was like, I hate the movie, but I'm like, I gotta get it.
Still gotta get it. Yeah.
As soon as I opened it up, I'm gonna call Sam out. Sam took a look at it, and then she kind of like slid it on the table.
Oh no!
And instant small scratch on it, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not a very likable movie, anyways, in my opinion.
That's true.
Rob, I'm sorry. And that horror couple, I'm sorry too. I know you guys enjoy that one as well, but
yeah,
I just got it to match the rest of them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked it up in that way.
I get it.
But yeah, I have looked into those too. They're a little pricey in my out of my price range, especially to get like the really like thick one.
Yeah.
I have some steel books that are wrapped in saran wrap. You know,
oh really? Just to protect them.
And it still works. So
yeah. Okay. Fair. Continue on with what you had there.
So I got one last piece because surprisingly, there's no collectibles for this movie. Yeah, there's like nothing. I don't have anything. I barely ever see anything.
Right.
But I did see this at a horror convention, and I had to pick it up. It was a little on the pricey side, but I do have another vinyl.
Nice. I like the vinyl collection you're building. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do have quite a bit. I haven't collected too many, but the Evil Dead franchise is definitely one I wanna like finish off. The only one I'm missing is the first.
Okay.
But that's like that'd be an overseas import.
Yeah.
So this is, I believe, the original theatrical poster.
I think
except it has like the most terrifying film experience you'll ever see on there.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice.
I don't know if then it opens up. I don't know if this is waxwork or not, but we'll take a look and see if any of the discs are different.
That's cool as well. I like that. Okay.
Let's see, because they're always 2 disc sets, so we'll see if one's a little fun. And they are. So what do we got here? We got Mia with the blood there.
Okay.
Chainsaw. Got them entering the cabin.
Okay.
This has to be a waxwork because I feel like waxwork is only this intense.
Oh, that's very cool. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, like they do a really good job with pressing their vinyl.
Yeah, that is nice. Okay.
So I'm assuming both discs look exactly like this, so I won't show off the other one.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, that is it. And it kind of sucks. And I'm like finishing off Slasher Radio's podcast right now on their episode of Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, I just listened to that today myself.
There's a lot of hate on for this movie, so I'm curious to know your thoughts. And I'm curious to defend. So
yeah, and definitely. I mean, I always, of course, I'm going to plug the guests that I have on, but go check out Slasher Radio. I really do enjoy their podcast. It's so much fun. And you get to hear me call in every week and harass the shit out of Mikey, which is also fun. I've really been enjoying that lately. And, Mikey keeps saying, I hate him so much. And I'm like, no, you don't. You really
don't. No, he secretly has a man crush on you.
I think that's what it is. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to have to call him out on it pretty soon, but no. All right. So, yes, the question I wanted to ask you before we get into this film, because I feel like, we talked about when we did Army of Darkness, the tonal shift, but I feel like starting with this film, even completely different tone, in my opinion, even in the first Evil Dead film. I feel like this just completely shifts. And I've heard other people talk about how much they prefer that original trilogy because from 2013 on, they don't feel like these movies have that same feel. What's your take?
I agree. But I don't agree at the same time because I do think this movie has camp in it, but it's all in the dialogue, you know, like a lot of the things that Mia says, in my opinion, is so over the top, it's funny.
Yeah.
Um, and I do think it holds a closer tone to what that original film was trying to be. Like, it wasn't trying to be campy. It was,
Right.
in my opinion, it was trying to be a scary movie. It was
I
just
agree.
campy because that's the way it came out.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, in my personal opinion, that this tried to recapture the tone of the original film, as
Okay.
where Evil Dead Rise captures the tone of Evil Dead 2 fairly well. So,
Okay. It's a good point.
you know, I know Rob's gonna be like, it's not an Evil Dead film, and same with like Cass Lovecraft was saying the same thing on the podcast right before I hopped on because I was listening to it while I was having a smoke. And I'm like, you guys are missing the point. You like, you really are, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's me to have a discussion with them on their podcast when I finally have some time to get to it.
Yeah.
I have that movie on reserve, you know, to go on their podcast and talk about it because I know Rob fucking hates it.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard him talking about that today as well. But even not just them, one guy that I work with who has kind of always liked horror, but since he just came on board, I don't know, a few months ago and found out about my YouTube channel. And so he subscribed, and he comes in my office almost every day to ask me questions about horror. And when I told him about you and I going through this franchise, we were talking about things a little bit. And he even said the same thing. He's like, starting in 2013, Evil Dead just changed. It's not the same anymore. And I kind of understood what he was trying to say, but like you, I see a little bit of it still. I think there's hints of it there. It's just done differently. But I agree. I think the first Evil Dead movie, I think, was trying to be a horror film. Just got a little different. But yeah. So, all right, we'll get into this, talk about this. Just like I asked you, though, in the previous ones, I'll do the same thing here. What are your spoiler-free thoughts on 2013's Evil Dead?
Spoiler, I enjoy this movie quite a bit. I remember when the trailer dropped, I was the third person in line opening night. I was extremely hyped up. It has one of the best trailers I have ever seen. Like, if you haven't seen the Red Band trailer, go back and watch the Red Band trailer. It is so good. It's so scary. It's perfect in my opinion. I got Sam to watch it while we were on some psychedelics a long time ago.
Okay.
Scared the shit out of her, and she's like, "Why would you make me watch that?" Because it's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I saw it in theaters. I've rewatched this movie many times. As you can see, I have quite a few different physical media copies of this movie.
Right.
I guess I just see something that a lot of people don't see in the film. Although upon this rewatch, I saw some things that I was like, that probably should have been done differently. And
Okay.
I'm kind of excited to talk about that and see where you sit
Okay.
on some differences that I might have upon this rewatch.
Okay. The first time I saw this movie, because this is probably, I think this is the third time that I've watched this now to get ready for this. And the first time I saw it, I had not seen Army of Darkness. I had only seen part of Evil Dead 2. And I had seen the original once a long time ago. So I really wasn't incredibly familiar with that original trilogy. And saw the trailer for this movie, thought it looked scary, thought it looked great, and was definitely anxious to check it out. I watched it, and my spoiler-free thoughts are it's interesting because watching it again the other day, there are things that I appreciate now more than I did in the beginning. I think the first time I watched this movie, everybody that knows me knows I'm primarily a slasher guy. Like, I absolutely love slashers. And I've heard Evil Dead talked about occasionally as a slasher, and I'm like, kind of, but it's not quite the same. And so I think the first time I watched this movie, I'm like, okay, not bad. It was okay. But I found myself enjoying it a little bit more this time around than I think I did in my prior watches. So that's my spoiler-free thoughts. I don't want to go too far. All right, tagline for this film: fear what you will become. Synopsis for this one: Mia, a drug addict, is determined to kick the habit. Uh, she ends up asking her brother, David, his girlfriend, Natalie, and their friends, Olivia and Eric, to accompany her to their family's remote forest cabin to help her through withdrawals. Eric finds a mysterious Book of the Dead at the cabin, reads aloud from it, which awakens an ancient demon. All hell breaks loose when the malevolent entity possesses Mia. Released April 5th, 2013, directed by Fede Alvarez, screenplay by Fede Alvarez and Rodo Segayas, I believe is how you say it. I might be wrong. Distributed by Sony Pictures, runtime of 92 minutes, $17 million budget, $97.5 million at the box office, so it did very well. Cast: Jane Levy, Shiloh Fernandez, Lou Taylor Pucci, maybe? I'm not sure. Jessica Lucas, Elizabeth Blackmore. Let's stop there. And Brendan, give me your thoughts on cast and characters for this one.
I think the cast is pretty good. I think everybody does a really solid job. The characters, I think Jane Levy's character of Mia is fantastic, especially with David as her brother. I think they're great together. The dynamic is really good. I would say maybe not Natalie. What's the other girl's name? I should
Olivia?
Yeah. I think Olivia's good. I think Eric's he's dumb. But Natalie definitely is the weakest character you see here. She has a couple moments where it's like they're trying to include her in the script, but basically she's just cannon fodder. So she definitely is the weakest part, but I think everybody does a really good job in this movie.
Yeah, I think the performances are solid. I'm not a huge fan of Eric's character or Natalie's character, like you said, but I do think the rest of them are pretty strong. And I think Jane Levy is really good in this movie. I thought she did a great job as Mia. I was very impressed with her performance. And yeah, I kind of liked the character of Olivia as well. And when I was watching this the other day, I was trying to remember. I'm like, why do I not remember her dying? And then when I watched the scene, I'm like, yeah, how can I fucking forget that? But yeah, we'll come back to that a little bit. So just a couple. Well, let's go first or next to cinematography, score, story. Give me your thoughts there.
Cinematography is so good in this movie. I mean, almost every other shot could be a painting on your wall.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how many times I wrote down yesterday about how good just the shot looks, the atmosphere, everything is just dripping in atmosphere. This movie, the score I think is incredibly well done. I wouldn't have bought the soundtrack if I didn't think it was good.
Yeah.
Very good, very creepy, very eerie. I also am a huge fan of having, I can't remember what it's called, but it's having the vocalists in the background,
Yeah.
much like The Omen and stuff like that. I think it's
Right.
very eerie. So the score lands for me. Story I think is great. There's a reason to stay at the cabin. And again, it's the simple Evil Dead story, really, but they add a lot of depth to the characters. Certain characters, not all of them, but adds quite a bit of depth for our leads in this movie compared to the original Evil Dead.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said. I really like the score as well. I love the cinematography. I think there's some amazing shots in this, and think this is very beautifully done. And yeah, I like this story as well. I like some of the things they add there. So yeah, I completely agree with everything you mentioned there. Just a couple of quick production notes real quick, and then we'll start to walk through this plot. So this is Fede Alvarez's directorial debut. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell had been planning on a remake for many years, but in 2009, Bruce Campbell stated that the project was going nowhere due to extremely negative reaction from fans. However, then in 2011, just 2 years later, Campbell stated that they are remaking Evil Dead and it was going to be awesome. One other note, Diablo Cody doctored the script to help the dialogue since the writer's first language was not English. She went in and made a few changes just to try to help things make a little more sense to us, I guess. But I did not know that she had any involvement with that. I don't know if you knew that or not, but somehow I had missed that and never heard that.
I think I have heard that. But yeah, I don't think he was very broken English when he was filming this movie originally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely makes sense. This movie also held the title of the most blood used on set up until a couple of years ago.
Wow, nice. Okay. Now that you say that, I think I had heard that, but yeah, I just totally forgot to mention that. All right, let's get into the plot, start walking through this a little bit, and we will see what Brendan and I think about 2013's Evil Dead. So we open up with a girl in a forest. She ends up being captured by two men. She's held hostage in a cellar of a cabin. We meet her dad. We find out he's around. He's telling her that she actually killed her mother. We have another old woman there who's reciting incantations. The girl is begging her father to let her go, but then she begins to change, peer possessed. Her father ends up setting her on fire and shooting her. I had completely forgotten that this was the way this film opened up. What are your thoughts on the opening, Brendan?
I love it. I think it's tense because you're clearly thinking that you're following this girl, right?
Right.
Um, the opening shot, of course, with her just walking, bloody hand, like that opening shot where it's just on her from afar looks so good. And then yeah, you got the two guys in the background moving around
Yeah.
the trees. I think it's very atmospheric and creepy, and you feel that fucking headshot there, that bunt to the head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard hitting. Um, and then yeah, you feel like everybody's against this girl when she
Right.
like gets her mask taken off, because like it's not a very welcoming bunch of people that we
Right.
get surrounded by here. So you're like, they're the bad guys, they're the
Yeah.
ones that are trying to maybe put a demon in this girl, or who knows.
Right.
um and then you get that turn where her eyes have changed and she's swearing out the wazoo, and
Yeah.
it, it's it's dark, but it's funny, like it's so hard to explain. I wish I wrote down more lines so I could explain like why it's just so out of left field,
Yeah.
but I think the effects are great in the opening. I think there's a lot of great tension there, especially with like fire, especially setting somebody on fire.
Yeah.
It looked CG to me, but I still think it looked fairly good for the time. So
Right.
I got zero complaints, and then it's like a hard cut to Evil Dead with the big music, and it's
Yeah.
very grandiose.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I don't know. It'd been a while since I'd seen this, but I just completely forgot that this is the way the film opened, to the point that when I started it the other day and then I sat back to get ready to watch it and take my notes, I'm like, did I start the right fucking movie? Like, this is not what I remember at all? Did I click on something else? But I gave it a minute, and then as it started playing out, and we get to that scene where, we find out what's really going on with her. I'm like, okay, wait, no, I do remember this. But I agree. I love the opening shot. I did think it was creepy the way you see the two men moving around. Um, you do basically feel sorry for this girl with what's happening until that change takes place. I really like this opening. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I agree with you. It's creepy, but it is a little bit funny at the same time. Just listening to her go off basically the way she does once she makes that change. So I'm with you. I had a lot of fun with this opening as well, even though, I don't know. I feel like some of these movies, I almost feel like I'm watching with a different lens, maybe than what I watched horror 10 years ago or something like that. But I had a good time with this as well. We then meet David and his girlfriend, Natalie. We also meet their dog, Grandpa, Mia, his sister, Eric, Olivia. So we get this whole group here. They're staying at this cabin. We find out, that Mia has this heroin addiction, and they're all there to try to help her. Olivia mentions, however, to David that they've actually tried this before, but Mia had a relapse and actually died before being revived. So basically, here we're just kind of getting our introduction to all these characters, and we're getting a little bit of backstory on Mia. Anything here stand out to you?
I think it's great. I think it's a great way to introduce the characters, because right away when David gets there, you can tell there's a lot of tension and unresolved issues between a lot of the existing characters, like Eric and Olivia and Mia, of
Right.
course, especially. But like everybody's, not on edge, but everybody's like, "Oh my god, this guy actually showed up," when
Yeah.
he never showed up before.
Right.
So I like that. I wouldn't say it's exactly tension, but it's unresolved kind of aspects that they get fulfilled kind of by the end.
Yeah.
I like the callback to the necklace. We got the
Yes.
deltas in there as well.
Right.
um, I think the heroin thing is a great allegory for this movie, especially with how it plays out by the end of the film. And yeah, like you said, David is here for his sister, but once you realize, your sister has had this problem and she's OD'd and has died,
Right.
and has had to be resuscitated. Are you still there for your sister? Like, you can be there for your sister and still kind of keep her there, or you can be there for your sister and take her away.
Right.
And then that runs risk of running in the same problem. So David's put in a very difficult spot right off the bat.
Yeah, I agree.
Grandpa, man, we'll get there.
But yeah, I agree.
What a nice dog. What a fun name too for a dog. I love
know.
that for Grandpa.
I agree. And once again, I'm with you here. I like this introduction. I think it gives us just enough backstory and introduction to the characters without going too far and dragging, which movies sometimes make the mistake of doing. So I feel like even though this is short, it accomplishes everything it needs to accomplish here. It kind of gets you relating is not the word. I guess just feeling is what I'm trying to say. Feeling for Mia, but at the same time understanding David and kind of feeling for him in the position that he's in. So yeah, I think it's a really good character introduction and a really good setup for what we're going to get into. A little bit later, we find out that they feel like maybe this cabin has been broken into. They also find like some animal corpses in the cellar. They find the shotgun. They find the book. Eric starts reading these incantations from the book, and of course the demon is then able to get loose. Mia ends up seeing like a demonic version of herself outside. She's having a lot of issues and basically decides to leave, but she ends up crashing into the swamp. She gets attacked and assaulted by vines. The group then ends up finding her and brings her back to the cabin. I thought this scene with her trying to escape, crashing into the swamp because she sees her version of herself out there. Her then crawling through the swamp, being attacked by these vines, and we know exactly what happens here. I thought this scene was really well done. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was fun. I really enjoyed this scene myself. But what are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm in the same boat. It's chaotic, because she's freaking out. She doesn't know if she's having withdrawal symptoms or if she's actually seeing these things. When she crashes into the pond and then crawls away, and
right,
that jump scare of the demon coming up from the water is still effective.
I agree.
And yeah, the vines, man, the first one was rough, but this one was like times 1,000.
I completely agree.
Incredibly rough sequence. Again, like the vine action stuff looks really good, like with her hanging in the tree.
Right.
I do love the Jaws shot, of course, when it goes into the demon Mia.
Yeah.
Or zooms in on her anyways when she's like hyperventilating, it looks like.
Right.
So really enjoyed that sequence. It's really intense.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that, because I was mentioning it a while ago. I actually like the way this is done better than the original Evil Dead. I was afraid to say that because I thought you were going to get upset with me. So no. I was just trying to be like, how do I say this? But yeah, I think this is done better than that original there. I thought this was the original's good. I don't want to mean that it's bad in any way, but I just thought this was creepier. I thought it looked great. We got some great shots. Yeah, watching this and getting to about this point in the movie the other night, I'm like, man, I'm just seeing Evil Dead through a whole new set of eyes, because I'm really enjoying this movie at this point. All right, we'll continue on. So David then unfortunately finds Grandpa. Grandpa has been beaten. He's dead. We also get a shot where Mia's like in this incredibly hot shower, like she's basically scalding herself in there. They try to take her to the hospital, but the roads are flooded. Things start getting crazy. Mia ends up shooting David with the shotgun in the shoulder. She attacks Olivia. She like vomits into Olivia's mouth, which is fucking disgusting. Eric ends up locking her in the basement, which then though we get a turn on, like Olivia now becomes possessed. She's like mutilating her face bathroom is messed up. She ends up stabbing Eric. He beats her to death. Mia then is able to lure Natalie into the cellar, where she ends up biting her hand, and then we get this scene of her like slicing her own tongue. That, it's made me cringe. Give me your thought. There's a lot going on here that I just kind of summed up, but I want your thoughts on all this that's happening.
It is a lot. I mean, once they get back to the cabin, and of course, Grandpa's death, where I'm like, you just don't need to have
you
the
didn't
dog
need
in
to
the
do it.
movie.
Yeah, completely agree.
And vicious too, right?
Yes.
Like it cuts to very vicious, quick sequence there with Mia beating the dog with the hammer, which I was like, I get it, you know what, you're going for it, but like we didn't need that. I don't think
agree.
in this movie.
Yeah,
None of the other Evil Dead movies needed it.
This one didn't.
This one doesn't. Yeah, this one doesn't either. So, but I will say the interaction between David and Mia, where he walks in and she's like, "We need to get out of here," is so tense. It's so creepy. The way that she breathes, the way that she nods while still like just staring at him. So like she's nodding, but her eyes are in the same spot. It's so just like, it's so weird that it just like sets you uneasy.
Yeah.
But then you get the shot of the demon and she's like flicking her tongue out and like repeatedly or whatever, and you laugh.
Right.
Yeah, it's scary at first, but then you zoom when they like do the little zoom in and it's like the tongue flicking thing. I just laugh. It's like it was scary, but now it's like that's pretty funny.
That's pretty, I agree.
With her doing this, the boiling the water on her face, the blisters look great. Like the practical effects all look fantastic. There's a lot to unpack here. What else? The attack sequence is good. It's very reminiscent of the original film.
Agree.
Getting locked in the cellar. What else happens here?
Once she's locked in the cellar, before she gets locked in the cellar, like you said, she attacks Olivia. That's very similar.
Pukes all over Olivia.
Yeah, that part just gross, man. it's just gross. But then we kind of move into Olivia becoming possessed now after what's happened, and her just like mutilating her own face. It's rough. This movie's rough.
Dude, the sound design too on that is so good.
I agree.
It's literally somebody must have like just taken a knife and just started cutting leather or something like that, because it is so gross. The effects are fantastic.
Yeah.
The one thing I will start to say, and this is kind of my distaste for, maybe not my distaste, I won't say that, but in the fact where I think that this is a little, the Deadites could have been better in this movie with them not having as much personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Olivia, Eric, and Natalie feel completely different than how Mia feels, in the sense of they're more like puppets being controlled by the demon that's in Mia, which is fine because that's kind of how this thing works. But at least I just recently watched, I know we're recording this early, but on Friday I watched on Thursday I watched Evil Dead Rise. Just getting ready for Evil Dead Burn. I went through this whole franchise with you, and then I finished it off this week. So like, even knowing like that's a demon too, that's just controlling other people as well, those other Deadites have their own personalities.
Yeah.
So this is what I kind of feel like this movie is sort of missing for me anyways, is Olivia just feels like she's just being controlled, and that's kind of it, which is the point, because that's what the demon's trying to do, is complete the spell. But they definitely feel more lifeless than what Mia feels like, because Mia is definitely like the shining star Deadite of this movie.
Yeah.
But it sucks. But it's all vicious. Like, don't get me wrong. I do love the when Olivia is possessed and attacks Eric, because Eric's the dipshit that read all this, so he deserves to get it the most. One of the best things about that attack scene was the needle to the eye.
Yes. Yeah, it's rough,
man. I hate needles, dude. So like when he's like pulling it out like underneath his eye, the snap needle. Oh, that's rough, man. So
I agree.
there's that, and then we get into Mia tricking Natalie down into the basement. David, funny enough, duct tapes Eric's wound shut, which is a Bruce Campbell kind of move. There's a lot of duct tape going on in Bruce Campbell's Evil Dead
Yeah,
trilogy as well, so
right.
that's a good homage.
I agree.
Mia tricking Natalie down is so good. I mean, the lighting and the makeup on Mia when she's like crawling up her, it looks so unnatural that for the longest time, it almost looks like a puppet. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so stiff and
yeah,
weird
that's a
and
good way to
just
put it. Yeah,
so uncanny that it feels like it's an animatronic moving up her,
right.
and it's super unsettling. But then, like, she like cuts her, she's like, I can smell your filthy soul, you slut, or something like that, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
funny. And
right.
then she like cuts her tongue in half, which is disgusting. But
I
like,
completely agree.
what an excellent practical effect with the tongue moving back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Um, and then yeah, she's like, "Kiss me, you fucking slut." And then this is the line that makes
Which
me
I thought
laugh.
was hilarious for some reason.
Yeah, and then it moves up to the next line, which is like the line I always use to defend this movie because it's so far out of left field that you can't help but laugh. But like when Natalie's up and David's looking at her down below, and she's like, "Why don't you come down here and let me suck your cock, pretty boy?"
Yeah,
So funny. It's like
yeah,
it's so far out of left field, man. I can't help but laugh.
right.
So I
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying now, and it's funny you mentioned that because the only kind of note that I made here that I haven't mentioned. So again, I'm with you. I think Mia looks great. I think she looks great. I think the performance here, I'm incredibly impressed. I think it was all so good. I did notice that the rest of them, Olivia, Eric, Natalie, just don't seem the same. Um,
Mhm.
and I couldn't decide really what I thought about it because watching this, I mean, I had seen Army of Darkness now and how much I loved it, and thinking I needed to go back and rewatch the other ones. But I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, anybody that complains about this film as it not seeming like the originals, I get it here because these Deadites don't seem the same. They don't have the personality. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm still trying to decide because, one of the things that I mentioned about Evil Dead 2 was how much the girl, and I forgot her name at the moment, sitting there on the floor laughing was getting on my damn nerves. Like it was driving me
Yep.
crazy in that second film. So watching this, part of me is like, is it good that they don't have as much personality? But then I'm also like, but that kind of takes away from what I thought Evil Dead was at the same time. So I'm with you 100% there. Um, but I just think the effects in this movie are incredible. I think, again, the way we talked about it, Olivia mutilating her face, the needle in the eye with Eric, and then the tongue slicing scene. I just this movie made me cringe a few times with some stuff, but it also looks so good. It just looks so good. And then I'm with you. You also do get those comedy moments that I don't know why the "Kiss Me, You Slut" probably made me laugh harder than the other one, but the other one was good as well. Um, so yeah, I appreciate what they did here, and once again was surprised how much I was enjoying this movie as I was going through this the other night. Uh, yeah, something's happened with me in the Evil Dead. I got to figure it out. Eric ends up explaining then about the Taker of Souls, how 5 souls must be. It must claim 5 souls to be able to unleash the abomination. He explains that they have to kill Mia. Uh, During this time, Natalie's hand ends up getting possessed. I'm sure there's something there. She tries to amputate it with an electric knife, which is also funny to me, but that's fine. The power ends up going out, though, in the process of this. Eric is talking about, like a live burial, dismemberment, fire, like purification, that whole thing, before Natalie ends up attacking them with a nail gun and a crowbar. David at some point is able to shoot her other arm off, and I guess she just bleeds out, basically, is what happens to her. But give me your thoughts here as we get further in, and now Natalie's the one during the attacking. The electric knife thing to me is funny, but I did like the way then her arm just like basically falls off a little bit later, because she doesn't get to cut it all the way through with the power going out, and then just a few minutes later it just kind of falls off. which again I thought was funny. But give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man. Again, like I think it's funny. I think the little back and forth between Natalie and Mia is pretty good too, because she's like, don't cut it
Yeah.
off, and she's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, dude, I'm cutting it off.
Right.
So yeah, I find that aspect funny. There's also scenes like you watched the theatrical cut, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's like some creepy moments where she sings a song to her in the director's cut, which I thought was a lot more effective than the
Okay.
theatrical cut. They don't add a lot. They add like a cat jump scare, and there's a little bit more gore with scenes. But
Okay.
I do recommend watching the extended cut though, if you ever do get the chance. But yeah, the electric knife is of course set up earlier in the film, which I like. A lot of the
Yes.
weapons and stuff like that is all set up earlier, so that comes in. I do like the hand being brought back as a homage to the second film.
Right.
Natalie's attack is good. I do like the nail gun. I do like how she kind of nail guns her face a bunch
Yeah.
before attacking everybody else.
Right.
It's kind of like a part of the ritual kind of aspect is what the book details. So I like that. I do, again, movie magic. You can't shoot a nail gun like that. That's just not possible. That's not how nail
Right.
guns work. But if I'm gonna nitpick, Army of Darkness for the shell count, I guess I'm gonna have to nitpick this as well. So, but I think it's a really effective. Like you feel every hit from that nail gun just from like the sound design, which I really like. Natalie like slices Eric's hand in half with the crowbar, which is an incredibly effective gore sequence as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, David shoots her hand off, and then the Deadites, knowing their sick sense of humor, they're gonna like, okay, we'll just let you be human while you die.
Yeah.
And then, which I thought with her Deadite, that's like the only one where I'm like, she probably should have came back at a later point, because it's got to be full body dismemberment in order for them to be actually cleansed, not just a hand.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was a problem that I did have. I didn't like the way. Let me ask you this, because that did bother me. I didn't like the way they kind of put an end to Natalie there, because I thought that was so much simple. Well, why it's never been that simple with any other Deadite ever. How was this so easy? Do you feel like the scene where Natalie's attacking Eric and the other guy, and she's shooting? Do you think that went on too long? I felt like that went on a little bit long. I don't know that it needed to be that much, but not that it was bad. I don't know. I was kind of ready to move past that.
I mean, you got to give fucking Natalie something to do in the movie.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Most of her screen time is a Deadite. You got to give her something.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I was just like, all right, I see what's happening here, but let's move on. And then I didn't like the way they ended it with her either. So if I had to nitpick, I think the Natalie thing is my biggest nitpick all the way around, probably with this film. Again, not that it's terrible. It's not my favorite part.
I agree. It's definitely not as good as Mia's, demon aspect, and it's definitely not as good as Olivia's either. Like Olivia is super impactful.
Right.
So I can definitely understand the faults there. Besides her like beating up the guys, it doesn't get a lot of things done, I guess, within the story. So I can understand how you feel there.
I think just because too, like you were saying, Mia's is really good and then Olivia's is fantastic. Like I would like for the movie to, and I don't know how they would have done it, but keep building. Like let's keep getting better instead of having this one that's really good, this one's really good, and then we do this. Like that just kind of bothered me a little bit. I felt like we dropped off big time here.
Yeah, I feel like the sequence was just to kick the shit out of Eric again, to be honest with you. Which
you're probably right.
He's well deserved in it. I just saw a meme where it was like Eric is the definition of fuck around and find out, and Eric finds out in this movie, and I'm glad he does.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. As we said, so Natalie ends up bleeding out there. David begins pouring gasoline all around the cabin. He's going to set it on fire. But he decides instead to bury Mia. In the process, she ends up, coming back. She attacks him. There's a scene there where she tries drowning him at one point. Eric shows up long enough to save David, but then he is fatally stabbed in the process. David able to sedate Mia at that point. He does bury her. He hears her heartbeat stop. That bothers me. I'm not sure how. If you bury somebody, you're not going to hear that, but okay. He ends up digging her back up and resuscitating her. And then we get the dead-eyed Eric, who attacks David. David shooting a gasoline can to blow up the cabin, basically killing Eric and sacrificing himself, which I had also forgot about. Give me your thoughts here.
I do like that, David's like, okay, we're going to fix this. We're going to burn the house down and end it all. Of course, Mia then starts singing a lullaby that their mother used to sing to him. So he, of course, decides to do things the hard way since he's always been running, right? So he makes that choice for himself, which I think is good. I do like how the basement is filled with water, very reminiscent to the pit in Army of Darkness. I feel like that's what that was a homage to.
Okay. Can see that.
Eric finally bites the dust. I mean, it took 3/4 of the fucking movie, but I'm glad he finally went down.
I agree.
So your critique on him hearing the heartbeat, I think that was just a sound design choice to have that. The real indication of him knowing that it's over is the tree extinguishes, right?
Okay. I had forgot about that. You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, the tree had forever been burning since the lightning strike. So once it goes out, he figures it's over.
Got it. Okay.
The burying sequence is really good too. I really think that that's kind of, even knowing he's not exactly having this conversation with his sister, it definitely feels like a real conversation he's having with his sister.
Right.
Probably one of the more honest ones he has with his sister in this movie.
Sure.
So, because we didn't really touch on that, is that, me and David are in this strained relationship because he left to go to Chicago while she stayed home with their mother, who I'm assuming had dementia. And, she had to stay and basically take care of her while she withered away, unfortunately. So there's a lot of resentment there, and the fact that, Mia resents him for not being there, and he is feeling guilty for not being there as well. And he knows he's wrong, but he at the same time probably didn't want to be there for that, which is it's a tough situation for anybody, I think, to be in. But there's a lot of good family dynamic there. And him going in and, getting ready to get the keys and set the house ablaze. And Eric showing up at the last second to fuck everybody's day. Why not?
Yeah.
He to me is like my least favorite because just he's so like stiff and boring, and I get it, he looks a little creepier, but like he definitely is a pretty weak Deadite in my opinion. I like the shotgun, the knockover. I feel like that's a very Ash thing to do, as well as like this whole movie was setting up David to be Ash, and I feel like that was one of the smartest choices, was killing David off and before that third act really starts. Because who knew Mia was going to be the final girl of this movie? I sure didn't. So that blew me away.
Right. Yeah, I think that was a good choice as well. I think that was a nice twist. I agree with you there. The blood rain begins, and the abomination begins to rise. And then we see, in the tool shed, Mia is able to get a chainsaw. She, they sort of battle. She severs the legs there of the abomination. But he then ends up turns the vehicle over, which lands on her arm. She has to basically pull her arm off to escape, and then destroy the head of the abomination with the chainsaw, which then begins to sink into the ground. The rain stops. Mia begins to leave, and we see the book. Give me your thoughts on the finale here. I agree with you. The one thing I'll say before you start is, like you said, I did not expect Mia, the first time I watched this movie, Mia to be the final girl. So I thought that was an excellent twist for them to turn it to her being the one to survive here. But give me your thoughts on the finale of the film.
Oh, excellent. The score up to this point had been great. But then once that, you know, raindrop starts and the abomination like pops out of the ground, it just turns to fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Completely blown away by that score within the last 10 minutes of the movie. I think it's a beautiful, like, scenic kind of battle. Like, you know, the red looks really good with that cabin on fire. The abomination is, of course, like the duality, because it looks exactly like Mia, other than it's
Right.
like totally genderless. Um, but you know, it's like her fighting her demons and her overcoming them. So I think it really works with the story. The abomination is cool because you don't, it's creepy and everything like that, and it does damage, but like I like the aspect of if it touches you, it's gonna burn you.
Yeah.
So it gives you that urgency, like you can't be grabbed by this thing, like you can be by the other Deadites.
Right.
The chainsaw sequence is really good. Again, like there's the 2 callbacks with hitting the shelves and getting stuff down. Yeah, her cutting off her ripping off her hand. She doesn't even get to cut it off in this movie.
Yeah, she rips it off. Yeah.
She's got to rip it off. That poor girl.
Yeah, she's been through it. And, you know, you mentioned the abomination. That's something that I wanted to say as well, because I've made this statement about a lot of movies. I sometimes think that as much as I love horror, I sometimes think horror movies don't know how to end. I hate when we get these builds up and then we have to see some weird ass creature that we just didn't need to see. For example, and I know a lot of people love this movie. I don't. The Substance. I'm not a fan of The Substance, and I just think it gets too silly, too weird. I don't like the way it looks at the end. I'm just like, I know everybody else probably loves this. I don't like it. Smile 2. I absolutely loved Smile 2 until the very end of the movie when we get to see the creature. And I'm like, what the fuck? We just ruined this. Like, I don't like the way we do these final creatures quite a bit. I thought the abomination was great. I thought this looks really good. So something that normally bothers me didn't bother me in this movie because I don't think it was overdone. I think it was done really well. And so I appreciated that.
Yeah, that's something I was going to say. It's not incredibly over the top.
Right.
Like it might get later on in the franchise. We'll talk about in a few weeks there. So I do have thoughts on that. But like, yeah, you know, I think sometimes it's the simplest things that are creepy. Like the creepiest thing about it was that it was totally like Barbie doll-esque.
Yeah.
And you know, just the way it looks, and probably you know, being not, you can't be touched by it. Like that's enough. I didn't need any more than that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't agree with The Substance. I didn't need that in that movie to give me some fucking, you know, some wow. Like my jaw was on the floor at the end of that movie just because I couldn't believe what was happening. But
okay,
I definitely won't agree with you on that one. But I'll agree with you on the abomination. I think it's really simplistic in its look and its design that I think it works really well for this movie.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then, I agree with what you said there. I think this is done really well at the end of the film. Anything else you want to share about Evil Dead before we try to rank this one?
Well, you do get the groovy approved at the end with the post-credits.
You see the post-credit scene. And actually, I think I did write that down. Yeah, I just forgot to mention it. So, yes, we do get that.
No, I really like this movie. Like I said, I do have a little more nitpicks on it on this watch than I did on previous watches. And maybe it's just because I was running through the whole franchise as a whole in the last like 2 weeks.
Sure.
So maybe that's the only reason why I kind of caught it. And especially with watching Evil Dead Rise today, I was like, oh no, there is some little bit of differences. But I think it's a movie that you can watch and still enjoy and still consider an Evil Dead film. It's just the tone of it is different. That's what I kind of like about this movie or this franchise, is that there's a movie in there to fit your mood, no matter what mood you're in. You know,
right.
Do you want a low independent movie? Do you want a horror comedy? Do you want a fantasy horror comedy?
Right.
Do you want something that's incredibly serious like this film? You know, so I do think that it is a great entry in the Evil Dead franchise, and it's personally one of my favorites as well.
Very cool. I again feel like I've said this a lot the last couple of episodes. Enjoyed this movie much more than I thought I did. I don't know what's happening, man. It's even with the groovy thing that you mentioned. The first time I saw this movie and I saw that, and again, I wasn't familiar with some of the other stuff, but I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm sure people that love this franchise thought that was great. I don't care. When I heard it the other night, I'm like, that's pretty funny. So again, I don't know. I remember you and I quite a while back were on Slasher Radio, and during their whole movie madness stuff, and we were discussing Evil Dead on there a little bit, or Evil Dead 2, I think actually was the one we were talking about, but being matched up against something else. And you made the statement on there. You said, I know Sean's stance on the Evil Dead franchise, which is going to have to be changed later in the year. And when you said that, I laughed, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, Brenda, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to change. I'll watch them, we'll review them, but it's not going to happen. As we get into this franchise, now we're 4 films in, my stance on this franchise is changing. Really enjoyed Army of Darkness, really enjoyed this movie. Want to go back and rewatch the others. So yeah, I don't know what's happening, but I'm finding a love now for the Evil Dead franchise that I did not think I would ever have. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this continues to play out. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank Evil Dead?
Oh boy, the big question, like what do you rank it? Well, I'll start out. So I gave the second one I gave a 9.5. And then the first one I gave a 9.2 or 9.1. I do like this movie more than the original film. I do think it borderlines pretty close to that second one. I don't like it nearly as much as Army of Darkness. It's just the Deadites and their lack of personality, really, for this movie.
Sure.
On this watch, which is really throwing it down for me, because originally this was going to be a lot higher of a score than kind of what I was originally planning, which I think I'm going to put down now. But I'll go with a 9.3.
Okay.
Like, I do think pretty much I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be like points for me in this franchise, because I do think every movie is
everything's getting perfect. A 9.
Yeah, I really do.
Sure.
I can watch these movies anytime. Anybody who wants to see them, I will gladly show them to you. I can't wait to introduce this to the new family member. Me and Sam were talking about that the other day, and Army of Darkness is of course going to have to be the first one. So yeah. They're like, she's like, oh, she's just going to be running around being like, give me some sugar, baby. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's what I want. But this one will definitely have to wait, I think, a little bit before you can show them that one. But yeah, this franchise to me is perfect in my opinion. I'm saying that before I see the new one. But yeah, 9.3. I really enjoy this film. If the Deadites had more personality to them, it probably would have bumped it up to a 9.7.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. So I'm not as high as you are, but I really do enjoy this movie. I think for me, because I don't like it better than I liked Army of Darkness, but I may like it better than the other stuff that I've seen thus far. I need to go back and rewatch those. But for now, this is probably my second favorite one in the franchise. So I gave Army of Darkness an 8. I'm going to give this a 7.5. I do really like this movie. Don't love it, but I really like it, more so than I thought I did. So yeah, I'll go with 7.5, which, if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have told you probably a 6. So it's better than I thought. I'm going to go 7.5. I just need to go back and rewatch those first 2 at some point to know how I really feel about everything I think that's happening. But I am looking forward to talking about Evil Dead Rise with you here in about a week and a half. So yeah, that will wrap up Evil Dead 2013. As I said, Brendan's going to be back. We'll talk about Evil Dead Rise. Now, by the time we talk about it, Evil Dead Burns will have been out a couple of weeks. So we'll do Evil Dead Rise, and then we'll come back and do Evil Dead Burns, which normally I don't like to wait that late. But again, this will give everybody a chance to have seen it. And that way, I won't feel as bad about spoiling anything. So definitely looking forward to talking about the next couple with you as well. Before we get off here, though, go ahead and take a minute again to promote Our Life in Horror so we can build it up to where when you guys come back, everybody's going to be super excited.
Thank you so much. And of course, everybody sub to this man. He's amazing. He's putting out 3 videos a week and doing a live every once in a while. So
Yeah,
please subscribe. I think he does amazing videos. I may not be here all the time, but I am watching from afar. Trust me.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. Of course, I am Brendan. I am one half of Our Life in Horror. Sam is my other co-host and partner. We are currently in a hiatus at the moment. We will be back. We just have a bunch of stuff going on, but we are primarily on YouTube doing lives and stuff. I know we made an Instagram post today for the first time in a while that got a lot of positive feedback, so it's feeling good. Yeah, and that's kind of it. I meant to make an announcement I was going to be taking an extended break, but I just haven't gotten to it, and I figured I was on here, so I may as well just share it there.
That works. All right. Yes, definitely go. I mentioned this last episode. If you're not familiar with Our Life in Horror, or maybe you are and you just haven't watched a lot of stuff, this gives you a perfect chance to go back and catch up, see the things you've missed so that when they come back, you're caught up and ready to go. Definitely go show Our Life in Horror some love. And then, yes, please subscribe if you haven't done so. I've got a lot of fun stuff coming. Let's see. Next week, later this week, I will have an episode on Wrong Turn 2 with Matt from Getting Offed. We'll have an episode on Psycho 4, which was a first-time watch for me. I've also got 2 live streams coming up on the 13th. I will be live with Mike from Mike and Serial and Isaiah from The Bitter Wolf. We're going to be talking about the Terrifier franchise. And then the very next week, on the 20th, I will be live with Cece from Cece's Horror and Robbie and Kaylee from That Horror Couple. The 4 of us are going to be on, and we are going to be talking about The Ugly Stepsister live. So got lives coming up beginning in August. I'm going to be doing a live every Tuesday. So I'll have at least 1 live a week, as well as the 3 recordings that I do, and then popping up occasionally on other channels. So staying busy. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Be sure and leave me some comments today. Let Brendan and I know what you think about Evil Dead from 2013, except for Rob. Rob, I already know what you think on this one, so you don't have to say anything. But yeah, let us know what you think about this movie. Hit the like button, comment, share, hype, do all those things, and I will see you soon.